I lost my entire college fund to online gambling. I'm 22. This happened over a period of about 9 to 10 months. I lost around $50,000 that was meant to cover my remaining college tuition and living expenses. The money wasn't gifted. It was saved by my parents and me over time, part from a college plan, part from working two part-time jobs during high school and my early years in university. All of it is gone now. It started as boredom. I was taking mostly online classes. My schedule was flexible, and I was staying in a small rental apartment near campus. I had no roommates, limited social interaction, and a lot of alone time. One night I saw an ad for an online casino. I clicked out of curiosity. I created an account and deposited $100. That turned into $400 from a few lucky rounds of online roulette. I cashed out and thought it was just a one-time thing. But a few days later, I went back. Within the first month, I had deposited around $2,000. I wasn't tracking it carefully, just small amounts here and there. I justified it by thinking I was still ahead overall. Then I started using the money in my college savings account, telling myself I'd put it back after winning. I didn't. By month 3, I had burned through over $15,000. I shifted from roulette to slots and blackjack. I started increasing the size of my deposits. I wasn't even playing for fun anymore. It became routine. Wake up, classes, study, gamble, sleep. I stopped eating properly, ignored messages, and skipped in-person sessions. My academic performance started slipping. I was technically still attending, but mentally absent. I won big once, around $8,000 in a single night on a blackjack streak. That only made things worse. It gave me the false belief that I could recover everything if I just kept playing. That win stuck in my mind. I convinced myself it could happen again, even when I kept losing more and more each time. I started to believe the losses were just part of the road to another big win. By month 6, the balance in my savings account dropped below $10,000. I still had 2 more semesters to pay for, including rent and utilities. I kept going, hoping for another win. That never came. The losses accelerated. I started withdrawing money from a small investment account meant for emergencies. I sold off personal things, a laptop I barely used, a tablet, even my gaming console. At that point, I was just chasing. It didn't even feel like gambling anymore. It felt like survival. I just needed to get back to where I was before, or at least stop the sinking. One night I deposited my last $3,000 and lost it all in less than an hour. That was it. I stared at my bank dashboard for almost 2 hours the next day. $17 left. That's what I had. I didn't tell anyone at first. Not my parents, not my professors, not my friends. I isolated myself even more and went through the motions of daily life while hiding what had really happened. I had thoughts about selling more things, maybe borrowing, but even I knew that would only make things worse. Eventually, I had to tell someone. I told my parents everything. They were silent, disappointed, but not angry. My mom cried. My dad just asked me how it started. I didn't have a real answer. I still don't. There wasn't some moment where everything went off the rails. It just happened, slowly, then all at once. I closed my accounts and removed all the gambling apps and related emails from my devices. I also signed up for a self-exclusion program to block access to licensed gambling websites in my area. After that, I met with a financial counselor at school who referred me to someone who could help me manage the habit. I didn't make any big announcements about changing my life. I just knew it had to stop, and I took the first steps to do that. I've taken a leave of absence from school for a semester. I picked up 2 part-time jobs and moved in with a relative to cut costs. The original plan was to rebuild what I lost and go back to school when I could afford to. I still check the school portal sometimes, looking at the courses I should be taking. But if I'm being honest, the money I'm earning now is still going toward gambling. Not all of it, but most. I tell myself I'm just trying to win back enough to restart. I set limits, then break them. I deleted the apps, then downloaded them again. Some days I stop, some days I don't. I know what I'm doing isn't sustainable, and I'm not proud of it. I know what comes next if this keeps going. More debt, more lies, more damage. I haven't turned things around. Not yet. This isn't a story of recovery or redemption. It's just where I am right now. I know I've messed up badly. I know I can't keep going like this. But knowing that and doing something about it feel like two different things. That's what I'm stuck with. If anyone has been in the same situation or knows someone who has, what helped? How to start again? 3 months later, after losing $50,000 meant for college to online gambling. It has been around 3 months since I shared my story here. I posted it without expecting much. I was not looking for sympathy or advice. I just wanted to write it down and get it out of my system. What I got back was more than I expected. Replies, messages, and stories. Some people related, some judged. A few gave practical advice. I read everything. One message said, "This isn't about money. It's about control." That stuck with me. I had spent months trying to outplay losses. I never asked why I was gambling. I thought it was about winning money to fix a problem, but the gambling was the problem. I see that now. The days after my post were not dramatic. I didn't have a big turning point. I made small changes. I started tracking my behavior. I kept a notebook where I wrote down when I felt the urge to gamble, how strong it was, and what I did instead. That notebook has a lot of bad days, but I still write. One step I took was opening a second bank account. It's with a small bank that does not have a mobile app. I had part of my salary deposited there. I gave the debit card to my uncle. I told him not to return it unless I asked in person and only for essentials. He agreed. I haven't touched that account since. I also signed up for another self-exclusion program. This one covers more platforms than the one I used before. I installed a DNS blocker and stopped using my personal email for anything gambling related. I unsubscribed from every promotional email I could find. Relapses happened. Twice. The first time I deposited $200 and lost it. The second time it was $150. Both times I stopped after the loss. I didn't reload or borrow. That might not seem like progress to someone outside this, but to me it was. Before I would have kept going until I hit zero. I started meeting with a behavioral specialist once a week. She isn't a miracle worker. What she does is keep me honest. We talk about patterns and triggers. She gives small tasks, like replacing gambling time with something else. Sometimes I skip it, but I keep showing up. I'm still on leave from school. I sent paperwork to return next semester, part-time. My tuition is complicated. The money I lost is gone. My parents haven't offered to replace it. That's fair. I'm trying to pay my way back, one paycheck at a time. I still work 2 part-time jobs. I live with a relative to keep costs down. I don't go out often. I cook at home, take public transport, and track every peso. It feels restrictive, but it also keeps me focused. The urges still come. Some days are quiet, some aren't. Sometimes I type a casino name without thinking. I stop myself and write it in the notebook. That's my rule. I don't ignore the urge. I write it down and move on. Sometimes it works. Sometimes it just delays it. But I keep trying. My parents and I don't talk about it much. Every few weeks I update them. I say things like, 30 days clean. My mom sends a heart emoji. My dad says, good, keep it up. That's enough for now. I stopped believing I could win it back. That idea caused the most damage. Every time I thought I could recover with one good streak, I lost more. Now I'm not chasing. I'm not playing. I'm just avoiding loss. That thought took months. I don't call myself recovered. I'm not. I'm just not as deep in it as I was. I'm standing on more stable ground. That's all I can say. To the people who messaged me, thank you. Even if I didn't reply, I read it. It helped more than I expected. Hearing from strangers who've been there breaks the feeling that you're the only one. That matters. To anyone dealing with gambling problems, here's one thing that worked for me. Don't wait for motivation. You won't always feel like quitting. Sometimes you just have to block yourself before you change your mind. Set up barriers. Give someone control of your money. Use apps that restrict behavior. Do it before the next urge hits. That's what helped me get this far. This isn't a happy ending. I'm still in it. But 3 months ago, I was gambling every paycheck and lying to everyone. Now I'm working, saving, and staying clean most days. That counts for something. Let's see where the next 3 months go. Update 2, 1 year later. It has been a full year since I first shared my story. I am still in school, part-time, and now working one job instead of two. I have not placed a single bet in 8 months. The urges still happen, but they are quieter. I have rebuilt about 30% of what I lost. It is slow progress, but it matters. I still keep the same notebook and write in it often. I do not call it recovery. I call it routine. Things are not perfect, but I have held the line this far. If you are going through something similar, act first. Hope follows.